Hello everyone. In this video, I'll go over some housing search tools and tips that you can use when searching for housing. The topics I'll cover in this video include how to do an effective housing search, tools that you can use to search for housing, ways to identify scams, understand housing markets, and more. Make your housing search count by understanding your needs for housing. Make sure to find housing that satisfies your family size and is in a good location for you and the rest of your family or housemates. Also, make sure that you search for housing that is affordable to you. Your monthly housing payments should not be more than 40 to 50% of your total income. You also have to be able to afford utility bills and groceries. Make sure that you find a location that is affordable. Would you be willing to move to another area where housing is more affordable? Location is very important, so make sure that if you rely on public transportation, that you live in walking distance away from a bus stop or a train station. Also, locations can vary in the resources and opportunities available within them. Do you live in a city that offers a wide range of job opportunities? How is your commute to work? It is also very important to ask questions and read ads carefully in order to avoid scams. Now, I'll go over some housing search tips and tools you can use to find the best housing situation for you. Some online resources you can use to search for housing include Zillow, Trulia, Zumper, Craigslist, and Apartments.com. However, I would try and avoid Craigslist as much as possible due to the possibility of scams. Here are some neighborhood and local resources you can use to see what is going on in your neighborhood. Advertisements and alerts can sometimes be found on these sites for housing opportunities in nearby neighborhoods. Not everyone will post their units online, especially if the vacancy rate is low. Sometimes owners only put up for rent signs or post their housing opportunities on community boards at schools, libraries, laundromats, or even on community Facebook pages. Use housing search tools to narrow your search by using keywords, adjusting the price range, the number of rooms, and utilizing maps to set locations. When searching for housing, take advantage of your social network. Let your family and friends know that you're looking for housing, as they might know some housing opportunities available or know people who are renting or selling units. Having a personal connection can give you an advantage over others interested in the same housing. So make sure to ask friends and family if they know any housing opportunities or people renting units. Pound the pavement by taking walks through neighborhoods that you would be interested in living in. Sometimes homeowners and landlords only put up for rent signs and don't post it online. Also look for flyers posted at schools, libraries, coffee shops, etc. Now I'll go over some tips you can use to identify scams and misleading advertisements. Scams are everywhere, so I'll provide you with some tips to identify scams. First off, it's a good idea to pay attention to rental markets. If it is too good to be true, then it probably is. For example, a 2-bedroom house in Calistoga for $1,100 a month is most likely a scam. A 2-bedroom house in Calistoga will be way more than that. The landlord's location is also very important. If the landlord does not want to meet with you because they're on vacation, out of state, or out of the country, then this will likely be a scam as well. Never make a payment to the landlord unless you have seen the unit and have an intent to rent or lease. Landlords asking for money up front, especially non-refundable, and not able to provide a receipt is very suspicious. If you put down a holding deposit, it should go towards a security deposit or rent. One thing to remember is that fraudulent ads are designed to attract your attention, so be careful with rental prices that are below the average in specific locations. Now, we're going to look at some examples and practice on identifying scams. Do you find anything wrong with this ad? You can pause the video to see if you notice anything wrong or a bit off. First off, this ad reads like a 1-bedroom apartment for a great price. However, if you read the description at the bottom, it is actually just 1 bedroom for rent. Be careful with confusing descriptions and make sure to read the entire description and not just the title of the ad. Another issue with this example is that there is no picture of the house or room, just some grass. Here's another example. Pause the video to see if you could identify anything odd. One thing that is very suspicious is the extremely low price of the unit, especially for where it is located. It is highly unlikely for an apartment to be available for that price and be furnished. There are also no pictures and no address. Also, pay attention to pictures provided. Be aware of converted garages, warehouses, and commercial spaces, as these spaces can be uninhabitable. Read ads carefully and do your research by Googling location and meeting the landlord in person. Ads might try to fool you about the location. This ad here lists the unit as being located in Napa County. However, it is actually on Napa Street in Vallejo. It also states that it is a nice complex, but if you Google the location, it is definitely not even close to being a nice complex. Read ads carefully and contact the property manager or landlord if you have any questions. Make sure to protect yourself when making any payments by using money orders, cashier, or personal checks. Avoid paying in cash or sending money. Also, be careful with your personal information, such as your social security number, birth date, account information, etc. And do not provide information over the phone. If the property manager or landlord wants this information, they'll have you fill out an application. It is not okay to provide your social security number until it is time to run a credit check. Do not provide your social security number or any payments unless you think that it is likely that the unit will be rented to you. Do not sign a lease until you're 100% sure that the housing situation is right for you. And do your homework by researching the property and location by using Google or the county assessor. Now, I'll talk about credit scores and reports. Credit scores tell lenders how likely you are to pay them back based on your credit history. These scores are calculated based on information in your credit reports, which include information about your accounts, liens, judgments, bankruptcies, and rental information. Even if you have a low credit score, you may still be able to rent a unit if you have a cosigner or if your low credit score is due to unpaid student loans or medical bills. Some landlords may overlook low credit scores, which is a good idea to have a strong rental portfolio, which I will go over what a rental portfolio is in the next video. You can order your free annual reports at annualcreditreport.com from the 3 major bureaus, which are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You can get a report from each of these bureaus so you can know your credit score throughout the year if you order one report every 4 months. Rental applications often come with fees, which these fees are meant to cover the screening cost for credit checks. Landlords typically charge between $30 to $50 per applicant. In California, the maximum fee a landlord can charge is $50.94. This price can change based on the consumer index price. The consumer index price went from $49.13 in 2018 to $50.94 in 2019, an increase of $1.81. You must be provided a copy of your credit report if you request one. If your application is rejected by the landlord, any unused portion of your rental application must be refunded. Here's some information on the Napa housing market. There's currently a 2.3% vacancy rate in Napa County, and the median home value in Napa is approximately $677,000. There was a 2% increase last year, and there's expected to be a 2.1% increase this year. Landlords usually want a minimum credit score of 620. The higher the score, the better your chances. And landlords usually want your income to be 2 to 3 times more than the rent cost. Landlords often say no to vouchers and housing assistance. There's often a stigma against Section 8, but this can be negotiable. We can help advocate if you have a voucher, or you can ask for assistance from a housing advocate. Housing deposits can often be high. However, deposits can only be 2 times the monthly rent by law. Last month's rent and deposit are both considered deposits. Here's an example if the rent equals $1,600. If the deposit is $2,600 and the last month's rent is $1,600, this adds up to a total of $4,200, which is more than 2 times the rent. A deposit of $3,200 is allowed since this is no more than 2 times the rent. We live in a very expensive area. As of June 2019, Bay Area cities are 3 of the top 10 most expensive cities in the country. Also, according to the Napa Valley Register, as of 2019, Napa's rental vacancies are at 2.3%. Most counties consider 5% to be a healthy vacancy rate. Therefore, low vacancy combined with high housing prices make for a difficult combination. Here's a 1-bedroom apartment in Napa for $1,680 a month. Now, here's a 1-bedroom apartment in Sacramento for $1,025. You can save about $7,860 a year by living in a location that is much cheaper. Here's a 3-bedroom home for sale in Napa for $575,000. Now, here's a 3-bedroom home for sale in Vacaville for $385,000. The lot size are about the same, but for $190,000 less than the house in Napa. Nearby cities can often have more affordable housing opportunities and can help save you thousands of dollars. Vacaville is not too far as well. Here's a price comparison chart for other cities not too far away from Napa. The main idea is to find a place that you can afford. Some questions you can ask yourself when searching for housing are, is Napa too expensive for me? Have I looked at all my options in other counties? Are roommates an option? What is keeping me in this area? Is it because of my friends and family? The school districts? Do I want to live paycheck to paycheck? Do I want to save money for emergencies, to own a home, and for my future? These are questions to consider when looking for housing and making sure you find a place you can afford and will allow you to save money for future expenses. Moving can be difficult, but kids will adjust. Unstable living environments are more difficult. Other nearby cities have good school districts, and many offer programs to prepare students for college and other careers. The success of a student depends on many factors, such as stable home environments, family support and parental involvement, and access to resources and activities like a computer, a library, sports, etc. Here's a chart comparing school districts from nearby cities. One way to maintain a healthy budget is to follow the 50-30-20 budgeting rule. This means that 50% of your income goes towards paying rent, utility bills, health insurance, car insurance, and groceries. Housing should ideally be 30% of your total income. 30% of your income can go towards shopping, dining out, and entertainment, while the remaining 20% of your income will go towards your savings. This budget can be difficult to follow, especially if your rent is more than 50% of your monthly income. Now, here's an example of someone who earns an hourly salary of $18 an hour. If this individual works full-time, they can make up to $2,925 a month. If we use the 50-30-20 rule, we can see that 30% of their monthly income is $877.50 for housing. That might not be enough to afford a one-bedroom apartment here in Napa. But if we decrease the budget for shopping, dining out, and entertainment, then we can increase the budget for monthly housing expenses. Now it is 50% instead of 30%, which brings it up to $1,462.50 available for rent. Also, by reducing the savings by 5% and allocating those funds towards utilities, there's now $731.25 to pay for utilities. And still, there is $438.75 each month for savings. One thing that is often seen is people paying 80% of their income towards rent. This is something that we want to avoid in order to have money available to pay for other needs and be able to save for the future. Someone who earns $18 an hour must pay approximately 80% of their income in rent to afford a 2-bedroom apartment here in Napa. Utilizing community resources can help you allocate funds towards other needs. For example, going to a local food bank for groceries and using the money saved on groceries to pay the PG&E bill. Also, apply for public assistance programs like CalFresh and Medi-Cal. Try to meal prep as well to avoid eating out and share childcare resources with others. Here are some local housing resources that you can utilize. Here's a list of topics I'll cover in the next video.